Hello, so today we're going to be talking about NextGen Bikeworks, which is essentially a simulation where we kind of started our own company based on bikes, and we dwelled on the challenges of sales, finance, creating a logo, and essentially creating a profitable business. So we're just going to talk a little bit about what we did quarter after quarter. To start with, on quarter one, in quarter one, we kind of created the dream team. Myself, Humberto Mansura, was a sales management, and
Then Maria Sanchez, I was the brand management.
And
And
then Matthew Villasenor, myself, I was in charge of internal marketing.
And then I'm Haven Kelly, and I was in charge of advertising.
And I'm Lauren DeLeon. I was in charge of finance.
and Austin Alvarez was part of our business analytics. So we all chose these roles because we had some background on it, and we knew we were going to succeed in these roles. So we decided to create this perfect dream team to create this profitable business. And then we jumped to quarter two. Here, what we did was basically preparation. We created the pillars to create a profitable business, and we had four main objectives. Objective number one was the market research. We wanted to sell bikes, but we didn't know if people really wanted them. So we decided to use some of the budget for the market research. And then we jumped to objective number two. We wanted to see the target segments. So essentially who wanted them and what type of people were in the market for bikes. We then jumped to objective number three, which was basically competitor advantage. We wanted to know if there were competitors and if we even had a chance of beating them. And also we used some of the budget to objective number four, which was basically locations. Which were the locations that would serve our company the most? If it was New York, if it was Mexico, or even different countries, but we needed to find places to start selling our business. So that's what we did in quarter two. We prepared for all of these different things, and we had all of the information, and then we were ready to move to quarter two with all of this information, to quarter three. In quarter three, we basically created our four different models. We created a bit more, but these were the main pillars to our business. We created the hike bikes. We knew people in our market research, we found that people really like using bikes for hikes. So we decided to create this model, and it was basically our bestseller. We also created our recreational bike, our kids bike for all of the people who had kids and wanted them to ride bikes. And we also had the mountain bikes for all of those adventurous people out there. But basically these were our four main models, and we wanted to really focus our marketing and our sales on these models to expand the business. And that's what we jumped to quarter four.
so in quarter four, we modified those models we had already implemented, depending on what results we got back. And we took that as feedback, but also took what other companies were doing as inspiration to maybe create some new models or modify the current models we already had. And that made us upgrade our brands and expand our company as well, because we also added a speed bike for people that liked riding bikes really fast, but also a work bike for people that like riding bikes to work.
Quarter five allowed us to make models to fit our target market and features and how to fit the needs of that specific target. We invested in research and development on new brand features that expanded our market demand. In this quarter, we were able to advertise in regional media. This is more effective in reaching our audience. We ran several different scenarios to see how our financial and competitive position changes with different demand estimates. With our new target market, we can compare these projections to the results we actually receive in the future quarters. In this segment, our projected demand continues to grow.
In Q6, we put a major focus on doing media coverage, whether that be in our social media by creating posts to let our people know that when we upgraded our models or whether we were adding new features to let them know what was going on. We also made sure to update them through our local media, magazines, newsletters, networking, blogs, and search engine. So what these, our main goal was for the search engine was to create keywords that would start being able for people to search them up in those areas where we were located to be able to find us at the top, so that we would be able to appear in those searches and try to really start getting our marketing to project sales.
So for Q7, we made a few more modifications to some of our bikes. So we made some modifications to our kids bike, our Mountain Max 3, our Rec Max 3.0, and our McQueen 3.0. So along with these modifications, we bumped up the advertising again to help boost profits as much as possible. Along with this, we also used research and development. With these features, we added some handlebars, shock absorbers, etc. Basically anything to help accommodate to whatever the customers wanted. Along with this, we also modified our ads to help correct the modifications that we implemented. And then finally, we also increased our sales channels just as much as possible.
And then for Q8, which was our last quarter, we focused on several things, mainly just by seeing what people responded the best to. And we try to focus a lot on advertising and seeing what worked for our brand as well as what worked for other brands, and modified that advertising strategy we were using to see if we could get a better result for our last quarter. We also relocated budget and decreased budget in some areas that weren't as important, and increase budget in other areas that could get us better results as well, and modify our models to be as best as they could, a lot by trial and error. And mainly, I would say, me as a brand management, I try to take a lot of inspiration on what other brands were doing and what the best brands were doing. And I did this by taking a look at the studies and resources that were given to us by the simulation. There was a lot of list of brand perception and seeing what people enjoy the most. So I try to implement those aspects into each one of the brands so we could reach our highest potential. And we further expanded our brand by, as we mentioned, purchasing other things and purchasing other markets as well, and taking a more focused approach to what we wanted our customer base to look like. And last, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that this was a great project to work on. It was an amazing way to understand how a business really works and seeing everything that goes into creating your own business, from actually creating the brand from zero, from scratch, naming it, having a logo, deciding who is going to do what, all those little steps you don't really think about, and also building it step by step. Sometimes we learn that sometimes some things are not going to work, and it is a lot of trial and error and see what works and what doesn't. But it was a really good experience just because it was a very hands-on project. And in most classes, you learn a lot of theory, but you don't get to work hands-on on a project like this. And even though it was a simulation, it did feel very real. So we really appreciate having the opportunity to work in something like this, and being able to learn from real life experience what we can do to improve a brand and manage a brand as well. So it was a great simulation, and I don't know if anybody wants to add something else.
Yeah, it was a really great way to start getting a better understanding. As Maria said, it was a very insightful experience by being able to see just not even how the main layout was, but by seeing how each department actually works together, where we can kind of allocate the budget with one another and seeing how we could be able to make this brand as successful as we could. It was a lot of trial and error, as you know, we've never had anything like this in real life that we've experienced, but it was very great way to start getting us more ready for after we graduate to start our careers.
Also, my biggest takeaway from this project, I believe, is how you have to manage your budget, seeing all the little departments and the prices that certain things cost. Seeing that in this project kind of opened my eyes to how a real world business works. Obviously, this was just a simulation. However, these prices could be real for some companies. So I just think that managing your budget has to be one of the most important things that a business needs. You always need to be aware of your numbers, and kind of just be cautious and decide smartly where you want to spend your budget. And then if anybody else would like to add anything.
Okay, so that was it. Thank you so much for your time. And again, we really enjoyed this project.